Hi, my name is BWright, and I would like to share my research interest presentation to you today. I would like to know if homogeneous or heterogeneous ability groupings are more beneficial in the reading language arts classroom. This research project really started with that ongoing debate of do we group students by their ability level or do we group students mixed group in the same classroom so that they can learn off of each other? Does putting them with people who are at the same level help them to succeed on standardized tests, or using the skills of a mixed ability group lead to more success? Researchers have also taken an interest in within classroom groupings. So they've also used the same research to determine if within class groupings are more successful in heterogeneous or homogeneous groupings. And the last thing that's come through this research is, does grouping students lead to lasting effects on a student's confidence throughout their academic career? Is it a negative effect if they're put in certain groups or tracks? So in my research, I would focus on whether the bottom line is which yields the highest achievement scores. So should we put students in homogeneous groupings with like abilities, or should we work on putting students in heterogeneous groupings? What's the best way to teach students to be successful? The purpose of this study is to find out which of those groupings language arts teachers should use in their classrooms that would create the greatest impact on learning. Another thing that we should look at is whether these groupings are causing a negative effect on long-term learning. So the study I would use would be a quantitative study that's focused on data, very data-driven. Quantitative studies require a hypothesis. So my hypothesis would be students in heterogeneous classrooms will score higher on standardized reading language arts test. The independent variable in this study would be the classroom setting, heterogeneous or homogeneous classroom setting in their grouping. The dependent variable would come out of the standardized test scores. Some constants I would keep in my study would be the grade level, the school, and the standardized test, being the SC Ready. Participants of my study would be students, third grade students at a Title I elementary school in South Carolina. The instrument I would use in my study would be the state standardized South Carolina Ready test. Some procedures. Students would be designated a class at the beginning of the school year. They would have a full year of instruction using that designated class, whether it be homogeneous or heterogeneous. And then at the end of the year, they would take the South Carolina Ready test. I would collect data from the scores of the test, and we would analyze those and be presented using charts and tables. Some related literature to go along with the study. There was a quantitative study conducted by Karen Murphy and some of her colleagues at Penn State and UNC Chapel Hill. She found that heterogeneous classroom settings were more likely to create positive outcomes on student learning. But, however, she also found that the within class groupings really had some more diverse findings. She found that low-level ability students were more successful in heterogeneous groups. Average ability students showed more progress in homogeneous groupings, and then high ability learners succeeded in either group they were with. They were pretty versatile. Another related literature source was with researcher Deploy, who found that homogeneous settings were good for some students, but not good for others. He found that some of the students were able to find success because they were working at their level with students who were like them, whereas others kind of fell behind when they were working with students. So his work was found to be inconclusive, and it still left that question up in the air. Which of these settings is best for students? Should we do homogeneous settings, heterogeneous settings? Should we focus on the within class settings, or should we focus on whole class? So those are some literatures that are related to my project. I also looked into some other projects about the self-efficacy, and just to get a good round point of view.